which is another thing. This is kind of a series. We got more than one. This is a bit of a continuation from last week. Last week was me talking about a quote that I got from Giancarlo Esposito when I got to meet him. And I want to continue that because he gave me a lot of really valuable insight. And another thing I really liked that he told me, which obviously this isn't his original thing. This is actually a pretty common statement, which is surround yourself with like-minded people, but people who are also better than you and challenge you. And there's a lot to unpack there, so I'm gonna talk about that. Ooh, Apple. But yeah, surround yourself with like-minded people. That's pretty straightforward. If you are trying to achieve something, the easiest way to achieve it, well, not easiest, but it's something that will help you substantially, is having people around you who are trying to achieve the same goal, or have achieved it, or trying to achieve a similar goal. You see where I'm going with this. In the case of YouTube, surrounding yourself with other YouTubers, right? People who also want that as much as you. And it doesn't have to just be exclusive to YouTube. It could be in the case of academics. It could be in the case of any form of art. It could be the gym, right? If you go to the gym with someone and he keeps slacking, maybe he doesn't show up many days, maybe he doesn't have a great diet, that's going to affect you. And you need people who are going to keep you accountable, but also keep you motivated. It's a mutually beneficial arrangement, if you will. And I think that that's pretty self-explanatory. I think a lot of people, maybe they know it like deep down, but not everyone necessarily follows that like philosophy. I think there's people certainly out there who are trying to achieve something and they don't have access to that group of people. And it could be a logistical issue. It could be just like, oh, well, you live in bumfuck nowhere. Maybe all you have is like a Raspberry Pi, so you can't even like install Discord on it or function, And it's stuff like that can happen, and those are definitely extreme cases, but cases nonetheless. And for those people, I sympathize. But for the average Joe, it's a little different because you are able to get those resources. You just need to really look for them, I would say. I think YouTube is, that is like the core example on my channel when it comes to literally anything, but I think it applies pretty well here, in the sense that, for me at least, when I was trying to grow as a creator, it was really difficult. I wasn't able to really connect with like-minded people or people who supported me. Like, I had friends who supported me, they watched my videos, blah blah blah, but they weren't YouTubers, right? And as a result, they weren't really in a position to give me constructive feedback. A YouTuber will look at a video and immediately point out, oh, you know what, this title, it's not very good, or yeah, maybe I would have edited this a little differently. As a friend, on the other hand, might not do that. There are certainly exceptions. I'm sure that there are friends out there who will absolutely shit on your stuff. And I want to say that that's a good thing. But the average person doesn't, and that's why it's so important to tailor yourself to a group of people who really want to see you succeed. That's the first part of it. And the second part of it, which I think is something that a lot more people need to hear, is the surround yourself with people who are better than you. And it's not necessarily a ego thing. It's not necessarily, it could be, but I think the meaning behind that statement is more so just saying, if you are in a position where you have a group of friends and you're not really going anywhere with it, in the sense of like, okay, well, I'm not learning anything, I'm not improving, that's bad. It's bad because there is I don't know where this saying comes from, but there's this saying where it's like, stagnancy is worse than death, or something like that, where it's like, if you are at a point where you are trying and trying, and you keep trying to make something work, and nothing's coming of it, you're not really improving, it is literally worse than giving up. And in a sense, that is true, because if you give up, at least you've come to terms with it. You don't put more effort into it, and there's no results. Whereas putting effort into it and not getting results is worse. And I think that the idea behind that is you should surround yourself with people who are better than you at the thing you're trying to improve in. So like surrounding, with the gym example, if you hang out with people who are more physically active and more disciplined with their diets, or they have just more experience with being athletic, then that will rub off on you, and then you will by proxy become better. Again, with the YouTube, when I first really hung out with my current YouTube group, everyone there was pretty much better than me. I was very naive, I was very dumb, and now I am no longer naive. But I have learned a lot thanks to them. But then it puts me in this odd position where now I've kind of reached the point where I wouldn't say I'm the best in the group. I think that it's kind of difficult to fully categorize who is the best at anything when it comes to YouTube, because there's so many different facets, and all of our content is slightly different. Like you could look at subscribers, you could look at editing quality, you could look at writing quality, you could look at upload schedule, viewer retention. There's a lot of things you can categorize as a measure of success. But at the end of the day, I'm at a position where I'm not really learning a lot anymore. And that when I first came to that realization, I found it a little upsetting, because I want to get better, right? But the problem is that my friends are, even if they have a little bit of insight left to provide, it's not going to absolutely change my content. It might be like, okay, here's some tricks on After Effects that you can do, or here's a better way to construct this thumbnail, blah blah blah. Like there's always going to be something to learn, but it's not as drastic. And part of me has a problem with the current state of it, because I want drastic change. I want to keep improving. I have this drive inside of me where I really want YouTube to work out, but it is difficult. It is difficult in the sense of improvement. It is difficult in the sense of life. There's a lot of other factors, a lot of things that are demanding apart from life, or apart from YouTube. And it's a lot to juggle, right? But I don't know. It's like I want to grow fast. I want to keep growing fast, because when I first started, that was really like I was having such a good time with that, and I miss it. I really do. But again, it's just not as accessible. So that brings me on to this point that I think a lot of people need to realize. You are going to eventually reach a level where your growth is going to slow, and that is completely normal. And there is a few things you can do about it. First off, you can be an absolute piece of shit and ditch all your friends, and get a new friend group and learn that is also better than you, and then just redo it. People do that. I have a friend of mine who he's an artist, and he has done that a lot. Well, usually he's the one who kicks people out. Either way, that is something you would do. I personally would not do it, because I care about my friends. But there's some people who, they probably just say, well, relationships are a construct, so it really doesn't matter. At the end of the day, I'm never really going to have meaningful relationship with these people, so it's completely fine. No. Chudlike content, no. The second solution is expanding your friend group, introducing someone new, which is risky, because there is, of course, the issue that a friend group already has an established dynamic, an established hierarchy. If you introduce someone new, it's not always guaranteed that they're going to resonate with the rest of the group. It's not always guaranteed that everything is going to work out the way you want it to. And again, it's not exactly safe. The third solution is to not really do anything about it. to kind of just sit there and slowly improve on your own, but it's not going to be as rapid growth. And to be entirely honest, I think with the three options, apart from the first one, I think the second and third are completely okay, and it's something that a lot of people need to hear. I think that there's absolutely nothing wrong with making new friends, introducing new people to a friend group. Okay, I just took a screenshot of a black screen and my game froze. Awesome. I think it's actually, I would say it's healthy, because you do need a little variety sometimes, and introducing new people can be fun. For example, my YouTube friend group, we a few days ago, well, not a few days ago, a few months ago, I would say properly, we had a new friend join the friend group, and that was an interesting experience because it was fun to really see how everyone resonated or didn't resonate with this person, all of their opinions around this person. That's interesting. At least I find that interesting. But at the same time, it's like, okay, well, there was certainly some dynamics that changed because of it as a result. And that's just a sacrifice. But this person would join the group, they're not in the accountability group, but they're a YouTuber, and we do recognize them as a member of our friend group. We hang out with this person a lot, I would say, and they have insight. They have a lot of insight, and it's great. And I think that is something that people need to realize, is that you shouldn't be afraid to expand. You shouldn't be afraid to introduce new people, because as we introduced this person, we learned some things from him. I mean, of course, he doesn't have billions of years of YouTube experience, and I wouldn't say that he is better than us. I would not, to be entirely honest. But at the end of the day, that's not the point. Because this is what I don't like, and it took me a while to realize it myself. There's a misinterpretation with the statement, surround yourself with people that are better than you. Because when you see that, you're talking about a specific thing, you're thinking, okay, if I'm talking about YouTube, I have to surround myself with people that are better at me at YouTube, right? No. You need to surround yourself with people who are different than you. Because if they're different, they're better in some different things, and then that will open your eyes and challenge your perception in such a way. This person, for example, they have a strong passion for photography, audio design, so they're much more of a professional aspect of video production, and that's cool. Again, hopefully the audio quality on this video is better, because I literally sat down. What the fuck? Huh. Okay. I literally sat in a call with this person, and I discussed, like, okay, this is my microphone, blah, blah, blah. I want to really set up my OBS properly. I want to see, okay, how do I edit this audio in Premiere and Post, stuff like that. And he gave me a lot of useful insight that, yeah, okay, I could find it on YouTube myself, but it is so much better to hear it from someone who knows how to explain it, who has actually worked with it properly. It's great. So no, he's not better at everything. He's not better, absolutely, but he's better in something. Another example, one of my best friends, the one that I said that was quitting, he's better than me in a lot of things. He's better than me in thumbnails and stuff. Sure. But at the end of the day, I think I've reached a point where I don't really stand to learn much anymore from his thumbnails. Like, I might ask for a little bit of feedback, but I'm at the point where I'm pretty independent when I make my video thumbnails. But I'm not going to cut this guy off. He's still better than me in other things. When I first met this person, for instance, I had absolutely disgusting music taste. I was a chud. Dude, I'm gonna be so for real. And this is elite ball knowledge. If anyone actually knows who I am, then they can actually use this against me, because it is so chopped, and I'm not proud of it. I used to listen to Friday Night Funkin', a rhythm game. I used to listen to its soundtrack unironically as as a kid, and that fucking sucks. That's deplorable. You know what I mean? Okay, everyone had their phase with this until like Toby Fox and shit. Fine. And now I actually. So what happened was, when I first hung out with this person, they introduced me to different types of music. I really got into like industrial rock. I got into like Nine Inch Nails, and then later on, I started listening to Radiohead. Now I've branched out, so I'm a lot more independent than what they listen to. So I listen to like Deftones and Muse, and honestly, I don't fucking like My Chemical Romance. That shit sounds like a musical. I'm sorry. But the point is that it was a catalyst for me to experience some degree of self-discovery, and that's what it's really about. You introduce new people to your group that challenge you, and they give you something, and not always is it going to work out, and you just have to accept that, and you have to be very adult about it, But I think that you should always welcome the opportunity. This brings me to kind of the end of this. My friend group, we recently we're start off a Minecraft server. We do this every once in a while. I've been setting it up for like a month now with a friend. And there was this debate in the group chat where it was like, okay, do we want to invite new people? And some people were against this, some people were for it. And honestly, I think that it is an excellent highlight of how there is always a caveat, there's always a balance to be struck with these sorts of philosophies. Because someone wanted to invite a fucking 40-year-old chud who has like dead ass a wife and kids, and who has he has like 10 million on YouTube or something. Like it's a big number, but also he's been making videos for like 13 years and he fell off. And so it's like you sit here, you look at that and you're like, okay, realistically, is this person going to have actually any YouTube insight? He's like a Call of Duty YouTuber. He's still uploading and he's getting like 20k views per video, which isn't bad, but it's like, Bubba, you have 10 million, getting 20k, your golden ages are past you. But it's still respectable that you continue. But do you think that adding someone who is that old, or that big of an age gap, I would say, to a friend group is going to actually bring anything of value? No. And that's fine. And yeah, maybe he might have some interesting insights and stuff, but I just don't think it would work out. So there's a level to it. Now, if there was, say, okay, let's say there's someone who's like in their early mid-20s and they have 3,000 subscribers and their content is actually remotely interesting, well edited. Yeah, maybe. And even if they don't have some great YouTube insight, they might be a fun person to hang out with, and then you grow as a person, etc. because of that. We frequently, whenever you're in school and they talk about identity, there's a lot of different ways you can define it, but I think people usually say it's like, oh, it's your upbringing and your environment and your culture or whatever. But specifically when they say environment, I think it's also the people you surround yourself with. So each person that you interact with, each person that you welcome, each person that joins your group, each person you surround yourself with contributes to your identity, for better or for worse. So you have to be careful that it's for better. And part of growing as a person and growing as an artist is working on one's identity. And yeah, that's kind of it. So I guess the biggest takeaway from this is don't be afraid to make new friends. I know that everyone is at a very antisocial point in their life right now. COVID didn't help, and that could be in person, that could be online. Don't be afraid to meet new friends and reintroduce them to old friends, because you never know, that new person you might meet might become your next best friend. Anyway, that's about it. See ya.